Next up, it's time for baseball. We've got a great tradition here in Western Pennsylvania, especially if you're a native. Anybody that has anything to do with Pittsburgh, you root for them when they're out and about. Ken Macha, certainly one of those guys. Ken, a graduate of Gateway High School, University of Pittsburgh, maintained a home in Western Pennsylvania his entire baseball career, even though he was out and about. Drafted in the 6th round by the Pirates, had a 4-year major league career, then spent 4 seasons in Japan playing in that league's 1982 All-Star game. I'm trying to think of any Japanese I know, but all I know is Ohio. That really is a Japanese word. It means hello or goodbye. Anyway. Nata takusan kawaii. No, that's Chinese. Following his career playing, he spent 13 years as a major league coach and 4 years as a minor league manager. He was the 1998 International League Manager of the Year. He followed Art Howe as the manager of the Oakland A's in 2003, leading them to 2 divisional championships and 1 league championship series, appeared in 4 seasons while he was at the helm. He also managed the Milwaukee Brewers in 2009 and 2010, and maybe he could come up and explain to us why the Pirates have such a hard time in Milwaukee. Anyway, we're very proud, Ken, of your achievements here in Pittsburgh and Western Pennsylvania. Ladies and gentlemen, Hall of Fame inductee, Ken.
That's all right. I guess, Kurt, maybe you try to just that up, tilt it a little bit. Well, first thing I want to do is congratulate the rest of the recipients. Playing in sports, whatever level it is, and putting it out there on the field is something special. And as was said earlier, being one of somebody's teammates is, and remembering everything that went on during that time, it's always great. So you want to be a big league manager, we probably have, how many people we have here tonight? 600. We've got 600 big league managers out there. I was getting my blood checked a few years ago when I was with Oakland, and I tried not to read any of the papers because you don't want to let anything that's been written in there affect what you're going to do that next night. But I go to get my blood tested on a Monday, which was a mistake in the beginning because everybody's going there. So I walk in, there's a big line, sign in. I said, okay, I'll do what? I bought the Oakland Tribune, sat down and read it. So I had the mail bag in there, and in the mail bag, right on top of each other, were 2 different people had written in. And the first one said, you ought to fire Macha because he's leaving starting pitchers in there too long. And right below it was another person that wrote in and said, you ought to fire Macha because he's not leaving the starting pitching in long enough. So you're always out there to be second guessed. I'm going to run down a little list here. Bradenton, Florida, Salem, Virginia, Sherbrooke, Canada, Bedford Mines, Canada, Charleston, West Virginia, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, Valencia, Venezuela, Columbus, Ohio, San Juan, Puerto Rico, Montreal, Quebec, Canada, Denver, Colorado, Toronto, Canada, Nagoya, Japan, Anaheim, California, Phoenix, Arizona, Trent, New Jersey, Pawtucket, Rhode Island, Oakland, California, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. 35 years in baseball, 19 cities, 4 countries, 3 continents. All these places were my temporary homes, and it ranged from 8 years to maybe a month. And the first person that comes to mind with all this is my wife of 36 years. This was a family excursion that we went through. Baseball takes you away all the time, every year for 9 months. And certainly she did a tremendous job of raising my children. And she was my stabilizer. When we got through tough times, I was always coming home with a little bit of a bad attitude. But she always had a smile on her face, so I appreciate what she did. It takes a special person to be in baseball and be associated with somebody for as long as we have been. And just to give you a little story, we got married at the Justice of the Peace. We got married twice, but once in a church at Justice of the Peace. We got married, jumped in a car, drove down to Bradenton, Florida. I took batting practice for 4 days, jumped on the plane with her, went to Valencia, Venezuela, spent 4 months in Venezuela. So that was the introduction to marriage, not only to me, but into baseball. So I owe her a lot for hanging in there with me. A lot of people ask me, you've been all over the place, and of course I listed all these places here. Why is it that you keep going back to Pittsburgh? Why do you spend your winters there? As a matter of fact, when we get one of those cold snaps and we just get done shoveling 6, 8 inches of snow out on the driveway, one of my peers that I work with, he'd give me a call, and he resides in Phoenix, Arizona now, and he'd say, how's everything going today? 72, I'm getting ready to go tee off. But my answer coming back to him is always the same. It's the people that live here in Pittsburgh. And something that was mentioned earlier, we have a reputation throughout the country, people from Western Pennsylvania. I was sitting on a bench in Boston, in Fenway Park, and it was about 1 o'clock. We had a 7 o'clock game, and I'm going through all the scouting reports and I'm getting prepared for the game. And a gentleman came walking by, Larry Blatino, who I believe went to Taylor Alderdice. He's one of the ownership group in Boston, so he's a president or whatever he is, but he's a big shot there, part of the ownership group. And he says, you know what, that doesn't surprise me at all that you're here getting ready for this game at 1 o'clock, but that's the Western Pennsylvania work ethic. And he said, I absolutely loved it. And I'm truly blessed. And here again, 35 years, it's something that you're always looking forward to going to the ballpark the next day, or you're always looking forward to the next season. I mean, even though everything that's happened here in Pittsburgh the last 20 years, everybody's looking forward to this season with high hopes. It never was a job for me. It was always a joy to go to work, and how blessed I was with that. The second thing that I'm really blessed about was I was associated with a lot of people, my mentors in particular, that were givers. People that I worked for or with, they were always willing to help me out a little bit, go that extra mile, explain things to me, try to help me along the ways. And a guy like Buck Rogers, who I worked with in Montreal and California for 9 years, was my mentor, and he was a big help to me. So I'm thankful for him. And the third thing really comes down to the Western Pennsylvania thing. 2 role models that I lived with, my parents. They were just tremendous. My mother did everything she could. She was totally dedicated to her children. She put the time in, and I'm sure everybody in this room feels the same way. It's just the way people were brought up here in Western Pennsylvania. Her life was of children. And my father wasn't a tougher guy around. He was a tough guy. You can ask my sister how he treated her when he was trying to explain the math problems to her. But he was a tough guy. But deep down inside, he really wanted what was best for us. So I'm really, really appreciative of what my parents did for me. Tremendous role models. So really what they were trying to do, life is like a relay race. They had the baton, they wanted to pass it on to the next runner, which was me. And they wanted to try to make life better for me than it was for them. And really, isn't that what life's all about? And I'm hoping that the people that I work with, my peers, my 2 great children, and all the players that I had underneath me, that I did a good job of showing them what that Western Pennsylvania work ethic was like and passing that baton to them. So once again, I congratulate all the award winners, and I appreciate very much being elected into this Hall of Fame. Thank you.
Next up, football coach George.